I can see her
My
kid.
goodness, but anyway, I wrote
I
my
see her.
memoir because I felt I had done a lot of living. And in my living, I survived myself. And it encompasses from when I was a baby with my mom and my dad, the Jim Crow era, growing up.
She got head in the way.
I was born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, in the South. I might have some relatives here. I can see them. Yeah, yours. You can have my mama too.
There she go right there. I got her
She's
on.
ready. And just growing up, learning about life, my relationships, Hollywood, and up to now. I'll start with, I know you want to hear about my relationship with Richard Pryor. Oh yeah, look at her face, oh my God, I want to hear about Richard Pryor. Oh, well, Richard was a magnificent person. We had worked on Grease Lightning, about Wendell Scott, the first black race car driver. And Melvin Van Peebles was the director. And Julian Bond was in the film. But it was amazing because we shot it in Atlanta. And Richard, he had lived a life of you know, as you know, he indulged in drugs. And he was battling, trying to find his balance in life. And throughout my book, I talk about how we must seek balance. So he thought, well, since you don't do drugs because I have allergies to everything, maybe you can influence me. And I thought, well, I can try, but it's really you. You're a man. You have to follow your masculine direction. I can support you as the woman. I want you to be the best man you can be, as you allow me to be the best woman I can be. So he thought if I was his influence, that possibly he could stop go cold turkey. However, with cold turkey, he thought he may not be funny sober. And that was his worst fear. So I said, well, you gotta try, you gotta see what it's like. So one day, his horse Ginger, now I know you're gonna go back and listen to, oh, you know Ginger, Mudbones Ginger, the horse. Well, Ginger was injured on his property. And what happens is, I said, we couldn't get him to the vet. We couldn't get him to the vet. The vet couldn't come out. So I said, Richard, he's standing in the bathroom crying. I said, Richard, we're going to put the horse in the backseat of my Jaguar. So yes, I did. I put Ginger in the backseat of the car, him standing in the bathroom. I don't know what I had on. And there we are tearing down the 405 out of Reseda going to the vet down the freeway one Sunday morning. And you should have seen the havoc on the freeway. The people were saying, there's two black people in the Jaguar. And there's a horse in the back seat. Did they steal it? What's going on? And they followed us all to the vet hospital. We saved her life, but he laughed so hard. He was almost on there. He says, you crazy. You are crazier than I am. Do people know that? Wow. And he said, you make me laugh. So I made Richard Pryor laugh. And I thought, with that, I hope it's a great friendship. But here again, I saw someone that I really couldn't. He was fighting the demons. And he was so afraid he wouldn't be funny unless he was high. And so since that was a part of his legacy, as you know what his life went on to be. So, and then there was a time when I first started dating Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Well, you know we're very much interested in Islam today because we're immersed with their culture and trying to learn more about them. Well, Kareem, his last year at UCLA, before he was drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks, he was converting to Islam. And he wanted me, we were dating, and he was, the love of my life. And I thought, okay, I'll read about how to become a Muslim woman. I will examine, I will do the Quran, I will support my man. He had been embracing Islam for 3 years. I had only had 3 months. And he was asking me, to read, embrace it. And I said, okay. He said, well, what about if as I was saying, he says, well, if you're the wife number 1, what about you allowing wife number 2 and 3? I said, can you afford it? I just want to know, can you afford it? So,
what you know about
one day he called me and he said, well, I'm calling to see if you're going to commit. And I said, well, you haven't given me enough time. him. Because, you know, Islam is a very monolithic community, but it's diverse. There are moderates, conservatives, fundamentalists, radicals, and he didn't have a plan for us as a couple. So I said, well, I don't know, can you give me more time? And so he said, no, you got to commit to me today. And I said, well, I can't. He says, well, if you don't commit to me today, I'm going to marry someone else this afternoon at 2 o'clock. And I said, okay, all right. I understand now, Islam. I understand. But out of it, we had great respect for one another, where I respected him for his beliefs and he respected me for mine. And to this day, we are the best of friends, and he's fighting a rare, rare leukemia. And I asked the universe to send him great energy for his wellness, because I am a cancer survivor, so I know what it's like. When I was given a death sentence and expiration date, you have 18 months to live. And after I had a couple of operations, lots of therapy, my doctor sends me down to Chinatown in Los Angeles. Now, I live in Colorado and I have to commute. But when I got down there, I saw, he says, you need the yin and the yang, the yin and the yang of balance. You have to have balance in life. And I saw every walk of life in this herbal shop. It was amazing. Everyone in search of wellness and balance. And I said, this has got to be a part of my mantra, my life. And for example, in China, remember that everyone stopped having female babies? Now they don't have enough women to procreate with. All the men are looking for wives and there's no women there. Can you imagine? Haha, you know what it's like, yeah. So we need balance, and that's that's the storyline through my book. And there's so much, and it talks about, you know, the events that affected my character in life. For example, I had a dog named Magic Johnson, and Magic was with me when I was suffering from cancer. He would lie across my tummy, keep me warm. He was just my little bodyguard. So when he got cancer, a little later, this was in the 90s, I know it was terminal. So Tim Burton, the director of Beetlejuice, is calling me to do a movie that he's doing right here in DC, Mars Attacks. Remember Mars Attacks? Yep. And everybody wants to work with Tim Burton. So I said, okay, I can't. My dog is dying. He's very ill. I can't do it. I have to pass.
Oh, no.
So they say, okay, we understand. So they call me back a week later. And they said, well, can you put something on tape? I said, well, the problem is this is a comedy. I'm not in a happy place right now.